All right, we're live. How's everybody doing? As usual, I give you a couple of minutes to gather yourself because y'all know I don't come on these often. So this is big for me. So I got special guests and I don't want y'all to miss it. So call your mom and them and tell them Steve is and sit down on Facebook Live, and you already know how that is. So just call your mom and them and everybody, tell them Steve on there. I'm on TV a lot, so this ain't really supposed to be no big deal, but it's Facebook Live, so it's different. They can't edit me, and since it's live, they can't stop me. So I can say what I want to say. And I've been working on my cussing, so everything ought to be just fine. Hey, listen, everybody. I'm coming again to promote my Vault conference out in Los Angeles, which is May 17th through the 19th. It is a power-packed conference with some incredible speakers that I've been invited to come along and help share all of their materials, all of their successes, their failures, their winnings, their losings, the overcoming, the obstacles, the victories, the losses, everything. And they come with some great information so you don't think you're alone in this struggle of trying to become happy and trying to become successful. Those are two major components in most people's lives that I know. So look, everybody that I know wants to be happy and everybody I know wants to be successful. So I got a special guest that's going to be joining us. You've met some of the other people at the conference that I'm going to be bringing, but this young lady is really, really special. Her name is Charreah Jackson. She's from Atlanta, Georgia. She currently lives in Harlem World, New York, one of my favorite cities. Showtime at the Apollo made me. If it wasn't for Harlem, I can really say I wouldn't even be in this spot today because Harlem shaped and molded me in the opening of my television career. And let me tell you a little bit about her. Before 25 years old, this young sister had battled cancer, been laid off from her dream job, found out she was the other woman in the relationship. We don't need to go into that, do we? And that was the good news, believe it or not. The global empowerment leader realized early that her happiness always lives inside her own hands. So she has now been committed to helping all of you and people like yourselves unlock success and happiness with their own story. Charreah previously served as an Essence senior editor and has been featured as an expert on CNN, VH1, and NBC. And she's written for Time and Fortune. And she's earned a Hearst Award for journalism and interviewed newsmakers such as Sarah Jessica Parker, presidential candidate Hillary Clinton, Vice President Joe Biden, and now, to top off the list, the one and only, that damn Steve Harvey. Woo, let me drop my pen on that right there. Girl, you about to blow up. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show, Charreah Jackson.
Oh, Steve, it's an honor to be here, Mr. Steve Harvey.
One and only. You know what I'm saying?
One and only. One and only.
Yeah, and only.
15 shows. I'm so excited for you. I'm excited for Vault next month in LA. It's going down.
Well, look, mistakes and all, I'm here. I've made a lot of mistakes in my life. I've made a lot of mistakes in my career. I've said some crazy stuff that's came out wrong. I've said some stuff that I thought was right that people took wrong. I've done it all, man. I've made a lot of my mistakes publicly, and I've learned to overcome them. And people like you have stories to tell. And I think it's important for people like you to come on board and tell your stories because, look, man, other people out there have got to know that there's other people that have walked down this road before. They're not the only ones struggling with decisions and the how-to. So let's start with this message about relationships and building your network. Why is that important to you?
Well, it's everything. I think the most important decisions impacting your career, and this personally happen when you're not in the room. And so you have to develop allies. You have to cultivate your relationship. So when those big opportunities come, there's someone who can vouch for you. I was hired as an editor at Essence twice. both times the job was never posted online. So if it wasn't someone to say, hey, there's an opportunity, I wouldn't have even known it existed.
Right.
And so all of the big breakthroughs in my life and my career have come through other people. And so in these times where we can be behind our screens so much, it's important. Yes, we're happy to have you on Facebook Live, but get in the room at Vault, come to LA, because it's so important that you have those in-person opportunities to connect.
Right. Let me ask you this, though. The relationships you formed in your life over the years, how have these relationships served you while you've been on your professional journey?
Well, right now I'm on a Facebook Live with Steve Harvey, right? And so,
Yeah.
so my network and my relationships have served me well. My relationships have gotten me a seat in Oprah's backyard at her Super Soul Sunday brunch. My relationships got me a book deal for my book, Boss Bride, The Powerful Woman's Playbook for Love and Success. My relationships, as I mentioned, have gotten jobs, dates. So much opportunity happens. I've been able to speak around the world. I was in Amsterdam, I was in South Africa, both of that from people recommending me. And so it's so important that as you cultivate your gifts, which you help people do, that you also make sure you don't hide it, that you connect with the right people who know what you're up to so that they can support you.
Right. Why don't you do this? Give people out there that's listening 2 or 3 tips that you have for networking and connecting with the right people.
Absolutely. So the first thing is, before you can really leverage other people, you have to know how amazing you are, right? Because if you're intimidated, I asked my list, I said, hey, I'm going on a Facebook Live with Steve Harvey. What would y'all want to know about networking? And one of the questions was around, well, if someone's further ahead of you, like I can't give Mr. Harvey financial advice. So if I don't know what's amazing about me, I won't be able to connect and say, what are the things we have in common? And so everyone can help somebody else. And so the first thing is figure out what you bring to the table, and then offer that. Give freely of your knowledge, give freely of your time. And then the other thing is follow up, because so often we think, well, this person can't help me right now. We don't keep in touch. And one of the best pieces of advice I ever got was to cultivate the relationships before you meet them. And so when you meet somebody in person, when you come out to Vault, send them a follow-up email that Monday after. Make sure you keep it fresh, so when something happens down the road and you need them, you want to already have had that experience. And I really I know I mentioned it at the beginning, but it's so important that you understand you have something to offer, because so often we see somebody, they see you in the airport, they're like, Steve Harvey in the airport, like, well, I know you, I don't know if you're in the airport, but I say that they think, how can you help them? But the thing is, you want to be thinking, if you see Mr. Steve Harvey out, how can I help him? Like, he's busy, so you might not have the insight, but you have the time to say, oh, I read this article that might be of interest, or oh, I was watching your show the last 5 episodes. I noticed y'all been doing a lot more mother-daughters. I have some ideas. And so really thinking, how can I be of service first, and then cultivate that relationship, so down the line you can make your ask.
Yeah, see, but I think that's spot on, because I think when people meet people who they admire or they consider a role model, and then they meet them, and then their first thing is to ask. Well, look, I'm very accustomed to people asking me. The only way to get my attention is if you try to give me something, like you say, something to offer. You know, I don't need another person asking me for something. I really don't. My hands is full with people asking. Now, if you want to learn knowledge, I'm all for that. If you want me to teach you how to fish, I'm all for that. You just want a fish sandwich, you probably got to make another stop. I don't like that. I'll show you how to fish, but I'm not out here making fish sandwiches. So, and I always kept that in my heart too. What do you suggest? Now, after you make these connections, you've been out there networking and you connect. How do you mature these relationships? How do you make these relationships work? What do you say? Because I heard you say, follow up email, but what's something they could do to make the relationship work?
Well, the first thing you do is, when you do meet them, I do it in my phone, or if I write a little note. When I add a contact, I put in the bottom something interesting we might have talked about, right? So with you, say I met you out, it was like, Mr. Steve Harvey. I mean, in the conversation in your book, Act Like a Success, you talk about, you use a lot of analogies around boxing. You like boxing. I'm a very amateur kickboxer. So I might use that as something to might connect with or extend the conversation. And I would follow up via email. And I would also ask the person, how do they like to be in contact? And too often, do not be intimidated if someone doesn't reply. I always tell the story when I first was hired, my first job out of college, I emailed my manager every month before for about a year. And for every 3 emails I sent her, she would reply back once. But when I moved to New York and she hired me, she would tell people, oh, we emailed all the time. So don't be intimidated if someone doesn't reply back right away. Keep following up and don't get rude about it, but just stay in contact, because you just want to keep your name top of mind. So when something comes up and you're a fit, they're like, oh, I remember meeting someone who might be a fit. And right. So really it's about just a relationship first before you start thinking about seeing them as an opportunity. Because to your point, the more successful someone is, the more everybody's asking. So you don't want to be lumped into that crowd of somebody else coming, really? Cousin, who, you know, the second you see their number, you already know, because they only come when they want.
That's exactly right. That's just true. That's such a true statement, man. I just don't think that people understand, like you say, you know, when parents can't get back to you right away, stop panicking. Busy people, big people are busy people. And they big because they busy. And they can't respond to every single email. Like I tell people all the time, when you send me first of all, on my iPhone, I have over 10,000 unread emails. Over 20 now? My assistant just said it's 20, sir. He's in the mirror. He don't know he's on TV, but you're in the mirror. So anyway, he said you have over 20,000 unread emails. I'm not that guy. So now if you expecting a return email, it could be a minute. Now, people who are really close to me that I really want to talk to, they know how to get in touch with me, and they know who to get in touch with. And they don't get frustrated when they don't hear from me for 3 days. I got a partner in Africa, man, who I love, and we're in major business together. If I hear from this guy once a week, it's a miracle. And I'll shoot him on WhatsApp, and then he'll text me back, give me a couple of days. It's no problem, you know, you get like that. So what are you going to be sharing with people at the Vault Conference?
I'm so excited for Vault, Steve. I will be sharing Squad, really how do you build your $1 billion network. And I have a five-step process that I take you through. So it's Squad, an acronym. S is for simplify. So we first will help you simplify. What are the relationships you really need to support you in this season? Q is for quantify, because too often we over-index. You might have too many people in one category, but you don't have enough people who are further ahead of you to help you, because the more you grow, the more your squad and your network has to grow. So you keep having people who are further ahead than you. The U is for unify. How do you bring people together? And so you talked about how do you really build a relationship. The best way you can leverage a new relationship is to connect them with somebody else who is of interest. So to go through your network, they're interested in a certain area. Who else do you know they might can learn from? So that's SQU. The A is for amplify. And so how do you really, as you build these relationships, take them to the next level? And for D is diversify. What you're doing with your business partner in South Africa, how do you, as you grow your network, think globally, think outside of the people. I'm from Decatur, Georgia. You know, everybody I know ain't from Decatur at this point. And so to give yourself permission to expand. And so I love that with the Vault lineup. It is diverse. I'm excited to see Johnny Cupcakes and Farnoosh and so many other amazing speakers who are from different places, who bring different expertise, but there's a commonality we can build on.
Right, right. So last question. Why is this event, the Vault Conference, why is this a must-attend event?
Well, you're going to be there. I'm going to be there. I mean, what?
What? Live? And it's hard to see me live anymore, man, because I stopped touring.
Listen, y'all better get these gifts how you can get him, because I mean the lineup, but also I think it's the people, but it's the in-person is now premium, right? Everybody can tweet, DM. So it's a different experience when someone can come and make eye contact with you. Right. So all the people you've been wanting to connect with, this is the in-person experience where I'll tell you something I might not tell you. I'm sure there'll be things you say in that room that you won't say on a Facebook Live. And so there's a higher level of honesty and connection you will get by being in the room. And then the type of people that he will draw. And so I'm excited to be there, because it's going to be family you never met, because these are the type of people who are doing incredible things, who are ready for the next level. So you'll meet your client, you'll meet your friend. You might even meet a new romantic partner. Who knows what'll happen involved.
Somebody got something on their mind, you know what I'm saying? Well, that's what you need to do. Might meet somebody with a damn plan. Quit meeting all these knuckleheads standing around at happy hour with a drink in his hand. Hello, how that's been working out for you? Hey, listen, I'm looking forward to seeing you. And I know you're going to be absolutely fantastic. Listen, everybody, again, it's May 17th through the 19th. It's going to be at the Sheraton Universal out here in Los Angeles, California. You want more information? All you got to do is go to vaultempowers.com. Just go to vaultempowers.com. And listen to me, I really don't know what the hell taking so long for this thing to sell out. I really don't. I really don't. I do not understand, man, how a person can possibly think that you can't invest in yourself, or you don't have to invest in yourself in order for you to grow. There is not a company on earth that does not require an investment for it to grow. You are a walking company, a walking brand. How you think you're going to skate through this thing called life and never invest in yourself when so many people are willing to pour what they know into you for this minimal cost? This is crazy, man. And, you know, man, I mean, Vault is not going to change my life. I just want to be clear about that. It's not going to change my life. I'm doing this to change other people's lives. I'm on another space that I'm trying to accomplish. But one of my missions in life is to change people. You know, my career is what I'm paid for. My calling is what I'm made for. I am created and designed by God to share my knowledge and understanding on the journey I've been on with other people so they can see the similarities and go on and get to where they're trying to get to. So it's May 6th, May 17th through the 19th, everybody, at the Sheraton out here at Universal in Cali. If you go to Vault Empowers, we got plenty of room. I ain't even gonna lie to you. Let's go. Charreah Jackson, I love you.
Love you back. Thank you.
Yeah, Steve Harvey.